we went to Daytona Beach. Well, you can imagine, I was the one that would get the girls together and I would get 2 rooms on an oceanfront for Easter, get an oceanfront motel with 2 rooms and get 8 girls. Trust me, I wrote, that's where the boys were. That was right after the movie in Daytona. The movie took place in Lauderdale, but Lauderdale banned them. But Daytona welcomed them, and we were there, and it was one big party. How our mothers let us go, because we were in high school at the time. And I was the big ringleader, got it all. And of course, we would say we're going to be going to so-and-so's mother's house, and you know, we did that. And I wrote here, those were memorable Forrest Gump moments, being right there on the beach when we were doing the bikinis in those days, the days of the bikinis, and we were doing the what was it, under that board? Well, I didn't know what that, you did the limbo. Yeah, it was fun.
Nancy, where was Bill? Because maybe I misunderstood.
No, I'm in high school.
I thought earlier you said you were dating before high school. Didn't she say that?
No, I said pictures of her boyfriends. I didn't marry Bill until 30. Let me tell you, I had a good time. All right. And since we talked about that, yes.
I did too.
Yeah, you did too, right. And especially if you're the colonel's daughter.
Yes.
And your father's commander of the Army ROTC at the University of Florida.
Yes.
And he's faculty advisor for a fraternity. You don't miss any of those fraternity parties. You know, they almost got his fraternity put on probation. Except they said, oh, we can't do that. That was like what's going on now. Right, Captain's privileges. Here's my high school picture. And then this was our 10th anniversary and our 25th anniversary with Bill. So I brought that. And then here, that's college and then graduate school. I'll be talking about that. But those pictures are of me back in the good old days. And then, okay, so I graduated from Gainesville High School and went up to FSU in Tallahassee. Daddy did not want me to stay in Gainesville. I mean, almost getting his fraternity on probation. He sent me out of town to FSU. All of my siblings graduated from the University of Florida. I was the only one to go up to FSU. And I was able to do my student teaching at Freedom 7 Elementary School in Cocoa Beach. So that was where I went for student teaching. What a beautiful place. One of the teachers needed to go out on medical leave. So even before I graduated, I was already sub-teaching for the rest of the school year. It was really exciting during the space era, because we're talking now in the late 60s. You know, the big space shot. We used to walk the children down to the beach, because we were 2 blocks from the beach, for all the major shots. And I wrote, that's another Forrest Gump moment. One of my parents of one of my kids was the voice of Apollo. He would bring in all the stuff. I had box loads of all the memorabilia that I pitched down. But anyway, then University of South Florida brought in a special master's program to the community college. So I was teaching by day and going to graduate school by night. I earned my bachelor's and my master's degree in 5.5 years, and I also taught school for 2.5 years because I was able to do the student teaching, or be a sub-teacher. So I, whipped through that. When the Apollo fire put a damper on the space program, I decided to apply to teach overseas at the military schools, because that was where things were happening now. I mean, the Apollo program had gone on the skids. Spring of 1970, I received a telegram offering me a job at Clark Air Base, Philippines, and I had to respond within 48 hours. And my grandmother had died, mother was up in Fayetteville, and so I really couldn't talk to her, and the smartest thing I ever did, I thought, They can't hold a gun to my head. I'm gonna tell them yes, but I can always change my mind, but if I tell them no, I can't change my mind. That's been the rule I have lived by. If in doubt, say yes. And then you have the opportunity to say, you know, I've been thinking, that's not really what I want to do, but it's worked. So I figured, why not? Wow. I soon learned that was another place where the boys are. Another Forrest Gump moment. It was during the height of the Vietnam War, and all the fighter pilots that had to go to Clark Air Force Base for Jungle Survival School as the last stop before war. Of course, it was the last big party before war, too. And all the school teachers were at the Officers Club. We had 10,000 kids on the base. And I was also, that's the other thing, I was also president of the Teachers Association, too. Yeah, anyway, that's coming there. Yeah, we had 10,000 school kids, and we're on double sessions, which was great. I was in the late session. So, I had to be there at 12:15, the school got out at 5:15. And there I was. Don't run in the halls, because I'm not getting down the kids, because I gotta get before happy hour, because I gotta find somebody to buy me dinner. And so, we had to get to the Officers Club in time for happy hour. And of course, yeah, happy hour, the drinks were 20 cents a drink, as opposed to full price at 35. Yeah. And we were able to hop on military aircrafts and take space aid trips. Needless to say, I really did extensive traveling all over Southeast Asia. One Easter, I went off and toured Japan by myself. In those days, the dollar really went far. We would catch hops on long weekends to Bangkok to go shopping for jewelry. You wonder why my love for jewelry? That was back when gold was $35 an ounce. This $35 an ounce, the bracelet. The war ended in 1973. The POWs were first brought to Clark Air Base for complete medical assessments and debriefing. It turned out the group of POWs were in terrific mental shape and ready to get back into the USA living. You know, some of them the first group, been there 7, 8 years. I had my Andy Warhol moment, but all of a sudden I was called to escort a small group of POWs who wanted to visit the school. And it was decided that it would be a nice press event. Even with, as with everyone else, I've been wearing a POW bracelet for years. And when my POW fellow got out of the car, I was so excited. I was sure that because he did not, I'm sure it was because he did not have a wife waiting for him back in the States, the press was able to feature that meeting, as I said earlier. And if you look at the picture, I had been down to Subic Bay the weekend before and had gotten terribly sunburned, and I burned and peeled. So I was just going to the elementary school to teach, and I heard. So I literally put on a shift and just a pair of panties and flip-flops. I mean, I never expected the press to come. And then I remember when he put his arm around me, I went, oh, goodness, I don't have a bra. I don't know what to do. Because we're talking, I mean, this is back when that was heretic. You didn't do that. You didn't go teach school. I got caught. And so I'm sitting there, look at this in the picture.
Good grip on his hand.
Yeah, I didn't want it around. I didn't want to see that I was, well, braless, I was going to say. I guess it's not word that they use, commando or something like that. So anyway, yes. But that was fun. And then when it went all over, I mean, everybody, people worldwide were getting a hold of my folks back in the States. I did have those pictures
Everybody was
somewhere.
talking, I missed it. Did he cop a field? Did I hear that? Everybody was talking.
And I was going to say, you know, and I said the whole welcoming of the POW was absolutely a fabulous experience. And another Forrest Gump moment. You know, we were sneaking, because I had a car, we were sneaking the guys out of the hospital and taking them to the club. And that's where, yeah, because they wanted, I mean, they didn't want to stay there. And so the press was in there. And I remember one day we were sitting in the bar, and the press were also allowed to use the club. And so one guy, you know, one pompous reporter was, yeah, the POWs, and so the guy I'm with, he's going, yeah, tell me, what kind of shape are they in? And we're going, and we're just laughing at it. I mean, because it got fun, you know, that was just fun. So another really Forrest Gump moment. And I had become president of SCA, which is Southeast Asia, NEA, because NEA, all the states, and then Southeast Asia. And I was president. So I was traveling to all the DOD sites, plus traveling to Australia. And then I traveled to Australia, Penang, to Korea, the Pacific Island countries. Then, one happy hour at the Officers Club, I met the most wonderful band. Bill McNary came to my life. We had a short whirlwind courtship as the school year was about to end. He was in a rescue squadron and had several TDY trips to Korea, Australia, Hawaii, Japan. And then I had to go back to the States. So really, you know, we had little time really together. But lots of letters, and then I went home for the summer. Lots of letters, cassette tapes, and a 3-minute phone call every week where I had to wait for Bill to put 48 quarters into the phone booth before we could talk for 3 minutes. During the summer, he was transferred to McGuire Air Force Base, and in September, on one of those 3-minute calls, he asked me to marry him. I had come back in the fall, and I had signed a year's contract. So I had to get permission to break my contract. So I went to the superintendent, and I pleaded with him. And I told him, I said, you know, Doctor, what was his name? Doctor somebody, can't remember, that if he didn't let me break my contract, he would be responsible for me being an old maid for the rest of my life. Because that man's not going to stay single until June and wait for me. Somebody's going to catch him. He looked at me and he said, Nancy, how can I not turn you down? And so that's how I got to break my contract and got to leave in October. And so, because he would be responsible for me being an old maid if he didn't let me go. And so I met Bill at my mom's house, and we had in St. Augustine, Florida. We had a small wedding, and off to McGuire Air Force Base, New Jersey, we went. And then I'll start passing this around, which Carl has read. Bill, the last year or two of his life, he wrote his autobiography.
Oh.
And did a really bang-up good job. You know, he was having heart issues, and then he was starting down the road with Lewy bodies. We didn't know it. We knew something was not quite right, but I'll come to that. So I'll pass this around, and then toward the end, he was running out of steam, and I had Christmas letters, so I finished up. And really, Bill finished this up, I think it was April of 2010, and died in December. So, but that was his autobiography, and what a treasure this is. Carl and some of the people have read it, and Bill had the gift of writing. He really did. He really did. So, okay, all right. Bill had 4 children from a former marriage, and within a year, 3 of the children asked him to live with us. The oldest got married young. I started playing bridge. Was on the Officers' Wives Club board. Does that surprise you? Led the local teen club and was on the Homeowners Association board. In 1976, we were living right across the river from Philadelphia, so was there for the big bicentennial celebration. Another Forrest Gump moment. Bill got a phone call from the corporate aircraft management company who was looking for a person to head the international department up in Teterboro, New Jersey. So several of the pilots who knew Bill had recommended him. He was ready to retire from the Air Force, and it allowed him to continue in aviation. He spent the next 13 years in Teterboro doing a job he really loved. I again joined bridge groups, was on the town boards, active in the Women's Club, and was president of Newcomers. Daughter Jo met and married a West Point cadet. That was a beautiful wedding. With being in the, and I have this picture. This is kind of the family picture of the wedding in the back. A lot of family, Bill and myself, his folks, my folks, and all, you know, and the people in the wedding. So that was our West Point wedding when our daughter, of course, he's now an ex-son-in-law, but anyway, they have 3 beautiful children and 6, y'all know Jo,
Yeah.
She comes and visits us frequently. Then it was easy to travel out of the New York airports, flying direct to anywhere. That was the best part of living up in New Jersey. Then something down to better. Must be missing a page. Must be. I hope I'm missing a page. Because 85.